Hey everybody, Mr. G here. I wanted to go ahead and get on here and record this video for you. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. Remember, your test is on Monday. This is your review for the test. Make sure you do this. Make sure you watch it. This is very similar to the test, so I'm going to go ahead and get this done. Alright, first make sure you put your name on it. Do not forget to put your name on it. Okay, so getting papers that have no name on them, you should not be doing that. Okay, always have your name on it. Be sure you put the date. Okay, see, today's date is the 27th. Oh, it's not 4, it is 2. Getting a little ahead. Okay. Alright, first one says, place an X inside the pentagon. So we know pentagons have how many sides? Pentagon has 5 sides. It says place a check mark inside the hexagon. Hexagons we know have 6 sides. And it says to place a smiley face inside the quadrilaterals. Well, quadrilaterals we know have 4 sides or edges. Okay, so it says place an X inside the pentagon. So let's take a look at each one. So here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there's 6 edges there. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 edges there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so all I did was, just like we do in class, I used my little eyelashes to count each of the lines. Now remember, when you're counting the lines, all you're doing is splitting each edge. You're splitting each edge so that you're able to count all the sides and you don't get mixed up in counting them. Okay, so I'm actually going to erase these numbers. Sorry, I'm going to put them on the outside. So 2, 3, we had 6 here, 4 here, 5 here, 4 here, and 6 here. So now I'm just going to go by and I'm going to put what I need to put in there. So it says place an X inside the pentagon. Pentagon has 5 sides. So X here, and it's the only one. Next it says place a check mark inside the hexagon. Hexagon has 6. So here's 6, check mark. Here's 6, check mark. Now, if you notice, this does not look like a normal hexagon. It does not look like that. Okay, this is what we're used to seeing, but it's not always going to look like that. Okay, it can be different sizes, different shapes, doesn't matter. As long as you count the sides and see how many sides it has, that's what matters. Okay, alright, let's move on to the next one. Which set are quadrilaterals with equal opposite sides? Quadrilaterals, which is how many sides? 4, with equal opposite sides. Equal opposite sides. That means they have to be the same. So let's look at A. We're going to go ahead and mark our edges. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Uh-oh. That last one is not a quadrilateral because it does not have 4 sides. So it is out. Okay, let's look at B. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Well, we can stop right there because they all need to be quadrilaterals. Now, as soon as you looked at that shape, you could tell it looks like something familiar, doesn't it? Looks like something we've seen before. Maybe when your parents are driving around it is the same shape as a stop sign. So B is also out. Let's look at C just to be sure. Count the sides, edges. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have 4, 4, and 4. They're all quadrilaterals. If you look at them, they all have equal opposite sides. So our answer is C. Next page. Now remember, on the video, you can always pause it, rewind it, stop it, whatever you need to do. Okay, whatever you need to do, you can do that on the video. Okay. Alright, next one says, which box contains only shapes with no vertices? Only shapes with no vertices. Okay. So, what is a vertices? A vertices is where two or more lines meet to form a point. Okay? Two or more lines meet to form a point. So what we're looking for is we're looking for two or more lines that meet together. Okay? So they want the one that does not have vertices. So let's look at A. If you look at A, what shape is that first one? Right, it's a cone. What shape is the second one? Right, cylinder. Okay. Now, from class, we know that cylinder does not have any vertices, right? So we know cylinder does not have any vertices. Now let's look at the cone. Now, if you look at the picture of the cone, it definitely looks like there's a vertices, doesn't it? But we learned in class that a cone does not have a vertices. The example we used in class was an ice cream cone. You take an ice cream cone, hold it in your hand, you know there are no lines there, right? Because it's completely round. So a cone has no vertices. So set A is the one that has no vertices. Now, be careful here. Read your answers, because A says set B. Well, let's look at set B. They also have a cone that has no edges, but then they have this shape here. What's this shape here? It's a cube. Well, if we look at the cube, we know that it has vertices. If we look at the other shape, right here, it also has vertices. So we know set B is out. So A says set B, so it's out, and B says set A, that is our answer. You gotta be careful and read both of them. Next one. If you have two congruent figures as shown below, which statement is true? Okay, there's a word that we just talked about yesterday, congruent. Congruent means equal or the same. Equal or the same. So, no matter what, no matter how it looks, these two shapes are equal. They're equal. Now, I know that they don't look the same. Okay? I know they don't look the same. But they're the same size. Okay? Why? Because of this word right here. Congruent. Okay? So let's read our answers. The shaded part of figure A is larger than the shaded part of B. Well, it looks like it. The picture shows that it is. But because the two shapes are congruent, they're the same. So, A would be out. Let's look at B. The shaded part of figure A is smaller than the shaded part of B. Well, looking at the picture, it looks smaller, doesn't it? But it doesn't matter, because remember, the word congruent tells us it's the same. So B is out. C, the shaded part of figure A is equal to the shaded part of B. Yes. Okay. Now, we have 4. So then if we wrote this as a fraction, our denominator, D down, denominator, is the total 4. This is also 4. There's 1 shaded. There's 1 shaded. Alright, next one. Alright, this is a tricky one. The tricky one. You've seen this before, I think. Okay, which numbers are quadrilaterals? Which numbers are quadrilaterals? So you have to take each answer, check each number to see if it's a quadrilateral. So, A says section 6 and 1. So let's go to 6. Here's 6 right here. Let's mark our edges. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. Well, wait a minute. We need quadrilaterals. Quadrilaterals have how many sides? 4. So then A would be out. Now, what I would do, I would leave my marks there, and I would leave that number in there so that if that number comes up again, I can see what it was and I don't have to count it all over again. Okay? So now let's look at B. 9 and 7. So let's go to 9. Here's 9 right here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 7 is right here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So B is out. Let's look at C. C says 1 and 9. So let's go to 1 right here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. And 9, well, look, we already did 9. So that's 4 and 4. So C would be a maybe, because we have to check the last one. D, 9 and 3. 9, okay, we've done 9 already. That's 4. The next one is 3, so let's go to 3. We have 1, 2, 3. And we need 4. So D is out. Our answer is C. Okay. Next one. Alright, next one. Here we go. It says, name the figure that has 5 faces. 5 faces. Now, we know that a face is a flat surface. Okay, it's a flat surface. Now remember, we use the 3D figures in class. It's a flat surface that you can run your hand against. Okay, remember, I would always take my pen and I would put it on each side so that we could count and see how many faces. Okay, now remember, on a picture it's a little harder, but we try to number them, and you have to remember to picture it in your head, because when they're drawn on a paper, they're not 3D. Okay, so let's try here. So let's count A. We have 1, that's the bottom one. We have 2, 3, 4, the back one is 5, and the top one is 6. So A has 6. We need 5, so A is out. Look at B. Let's count the faces of B. Okay, does B have any faces? No, it's a sphere. Sphere does not have any faces, so B is out. C, rectangular prism. Well, wait a minute. Doesn't C look like A except longer? Yes, same thing. So we can count the faces to make sure. We have the bottom one, 1, 2, the back one, 3, this one, 4, and the top one, 5, and then the front one, 6. So 6, we need 5. C is out. Now let's look at D. D, we have 1, the other side, 2, back side, 3, front side, 4, and then the bottom, 5. So our answer is D. Alright, here we go. Next one. So it says place an R in the rhombus, place a T in the trapezoid, place a RE in the rectangle, and place an S in the square. Okay. Now if you notice, there's only 4 choices, but there's 5 different shapes. So we're going to have to figure out which ones we need and which ones we don't need. So look at the first one. First shape. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 sides. Okay. We have this side is parallel to this side. This side is parallel to this side. Okay. We know that this shape is a rectangle. So inside we're going to put an R, E for rectangle. So we're done with the rectangle. Okay. Let's look at the next one. The next one, we know what it is. It's a square, right? It's a square. But I'm going to go ahead and count the edges. Okay. I know it also has 4 vertices. I know this line is parallel to this line. And I know this line is parallel to this line. Okay, so I'm done with the square. Now look at the next shape. The next shape looks a little different. Kind of looks like a rectangle, but that line, top line, is not parallel to this bottom line. We have rhombus and trapezoid left. So let's skip that one for now. Let's go to the other two. Let's go to the next one. The next one has 4 sides, 4 vertices. This line is parallel to this line. The other 2 are not parallel. So it only has one set of parallel lines. One set of parallel lines makes this a trapezoid. Okay. Now let's look at the last one. The last one, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 sides or edges. Has 4 vertices. This is parallel to this. This is parallel to this. So it has 4 sides that are parallel. But it also has 4 congruent sides. All the sides are congruent. And the opposite sides are parallel. So that would make this the rhombus. Okay? And we would put nothing and this one. Alright, next one. Draw a line to the figures that have the same number of faces as the cube. So first we have to count the faces. Remember, you have to think of this object like the one we saw in class. Remember, on paper it's not a 3D object. It's harder to count the faces, but you got to think about it and imagine it like a real object. So we're going to count the faces. So let's go first around the sides. We got 1, 2 in the back, 3 this side, 4 the front, the top 5, and the bottom 6. So we know the cube has 6 faces. So we have to match it with the ones that also have 6 faces. So look at the first one. First one is the sphere. We know right away that a sphere does not have any faces. So that one's out. So let's look at the next one. Count the faces. Let's start with all the way around. 1, 2, 3 in the front one, 4, top 5, bottom 6. Okay, so there's one that has 6. Let's check the rest of them. This triangle 1, the other one 2, the back 3, the front 4, and the bottom 5. So this has 5, so that one's out. Last one, we know that's a cone. It does not have any faces. So we would match it to here. Okay. Next one. Alright, next one. Both shapes are congruent. There's that word again. Congruent. Talked about it yesterday. Congruent means that it's equal or the same. Okay? So no matter what it looks like, no matter how different it is, it's congruent. It's the same. So this object is equal or congruent to this object. So no matter what, no matter how it looks, no matter how it's split up, it's congruent. Okay? Next. Which statement about the figures is true? A. The gray area is equal even though they are not the same shape. They represent 1/4 of the whole size. Well, let's take a look at this. We see that this is split into fourths. We have this line here, and we have this line here. On the other side, we have this line here, and we have this line here. We have, oops, that's me, not moving me. Oh, back up. Okay, we have this line here. Now we count the pieces. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. So if we were to write a fraction, we know that our denominator, down, the denominator, our whole is 4. Well, if we go to the other side, same thing. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. So if we write this into a fraction, our denominator, the denominator down, our whole is 4. We have 1 part shaded. We have 1 part shaded. So 1/4, 1/4. The gray area is equal even though they're not the same shape. They represent 1/4 of the whole size. So A would be A, maybe. Let's look at B. The gray area is not equal because they are not the same shape. Well, we know that this word right here tells us that they're equal and the same. So B is out. C. The gray area is equal even though they're not the same shape. Okay, that's true. They represent half of the whole size. Well, we know that each one represents 1/4, not a half. So C is out. Our answer is A. Alright, last one. How many total vertices are in all of these figures combined? Total vertices in all these figures combined. Combined means together. In order to find how many together, we're going to add. Okay? So we're going to count the vertices. What is vertices? A vertices is two or more lines that come together to form a point, or vertices. So let's look at the square. Let's count the vertices. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to write it inside. Let's look at the next one. Triangular prism. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to write it underneath. Let's look at the cube. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Triangle. 1, 2, 3. And the last one. 1, 2, 3, 4. So now I have to find the total combined. So I'm going to take 2 at a time and add them. So 6 plus 4, 10. 8 plus 3, 11. And then I have 4. So now I'm going to do 10 plus 11. I get 21, but I still have 4 left. So 21 plus 4, 25. So my answer is C. Okay. Alright, now I know you've done the review. Best thing you can do is study it. Go over it again. Watch the video again. Go over it again. You don't have to watch the video again. I know you see me all week. Probably don't want to see me anymore. So watch, work it, study it. You have today and you have tomorrow. Your test is Monday. Okay? Remember, the review is very similar to the test. So be sure you look over it and study it. Now, for those of you that watch the video, I have a special thing for you because you watched the video. Now, for the people that do not watch the video, they're not going to know this. So, those of you who are watching the video, if you finish the review and you get your parents to sign it and bring it back Monday, it has to be finished. It has to have all these strategies, and the parent signs it. I will give you 1 free answer on the test. So any question that you do not want to answer, or that maybe you don't know the answer to, or you're not sure, you can leave it blank and I will give you the answer. Okay? Now, don't go and tell the people who didn't watch the video, or don't go and tell everybody. This is only for the people who watched the video. Okay? Alright, well, have a good rest of your weekend and study.